Hey everyone, it's Jenny freaking Kim. Today, I'm excited to bring you my final K-pop favorites of 2024. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that throughout the year, I provide videos featuring tier lists, rankings, and reviews of female K-pop groups and idols. With this being my final video for 2024, I've taken the time to look back at some of the top groups, idols, songs, and albums, and wrapped it all up in one big video to rank my final favorites of the year. We'll be covering a staggering 12 different categories, which is the most I've ever covered in a single video. Please keep in mind, this is just my opinion and has nothing to do with chart performances or popularity. I'd love to hear your thoughts too, so feel free to share them in the comments below. I always welcome different perspectives. We have a lot to get through, so let's dive in. To kick things off, let's get started with my favorite rap song of the year. There are quite a few that I've considered, such as Meow's latest song, Body. I watched them perform this song during the 2024 Mama Awards, and I was instantly in love with this song. Meow has so much potential, and I think their rapping attributes are top tier. Everything from the fire beats to the catchy lyrics came together to create this banger of a song. They're one of the youngest groups in the 5th generation, and I think next year is going to be huge for them. Next, let's talk about Kiss of Life's track Igloo, which has truly made waves in 2024. This song is an absolute bop and, without a doubt, stands as one of the highlights of their year. Kiss of Life has always been recognized for their stellar R&B repertoire, and Igloo is a perfect fusion of that signature style with some irresistibly catchy rap verses. What really strikes me about this track is the raw intensity and aggression, which brings a unique edge to their sound. The transitions between the different sections are incredibly smooth, making it a track that you'll want to put on repeat. Honestly, Igloo isn't just a great song for 2024. It's a standout moment in Kiss of Life's entire discography, showcasing their growth and musical range in a way that's truly captivating. Next up is NMIXX with their track Sikha, which I believe is one of the most underrated songs of the year and possibly even within their entire discography. This track really showcases NMIXX at full power, delivering an energy that's hard to match. The rapping and hip-hop elements are so well executed here, and honestly, I think this style suits them exceptionally well. If they continue to explore this direction, it could unlock even more of their unique musical identity. That said, while this song is a standout in its own right, I still feel that there are a few other tracks that manage to top it. For our next song, which I'll place in 3rd place for this category, is Baby Monster's Click Clack. Baby Monster is known for having more of a specialty in the rap category compared to most K-pop groups, and I think they absolutely delivered with Click Clack. At first, I thought Asa was going to take over this song, as she's the main rapper of the group. But I think Ruka, Rami, and Ahyeon really shine through on this one. Nonetheless, Asa always delivers, and I hope we get more rap songs from Baby Monster in the near future. Moving on to 2nd place, we have Les Seraphim with Pierrot, What Can I Say? The beats, the melody, the lyrics. This was truly a fire song by Les Seraphim, and I wish they received more credit for it. They went all out for this one. The aggressive tempo and the catchy lyrics go together perfectly. I would consider this one of my favorite songs from their discography. They get an A+ for this one. And finally, in 1st place, I have chosen Bad Villain with their song Hurricane as my favorite rap song of the year. Similar to Les Seraphim, it has that fast tempo and aggressive style, but multiplied by 10. Bad Villain is a super underrated group, and I hope they bring more heat next year and establish themselves as a formidable group within the 5th generation. Moving on to the next category, my favorite ballad song of the year. This category covers the softer songs that these groups have released this year, and in my opinion, it's honestly the most underrated style in the K-pop industry. Starting us out is Tsuyu with her song Fly. Not only do I believe that this song itself was underrated, but so was her entire mini-album. She provided us with a generous amount of songs in different styles, and her ballad was a beautiful showcase of her vocals. I think she has a lot of potential to become a soloist, and I'd love to see more from her in the near future. Next is NMIX with their song Love is Lonely. Similarly to Tsuyu, NMIX has provided us with a generous variety of songs and styles with their release FE 304 Stick Out, which is arguably the most underrated release of the year. As for this song, NMIX really showcased their softer side with their beautiful vocals, and I love how catchy it is. NMIX once again proved to us how versatile they truly are, constantly experimenting with new styles and even performing songs in multiple languages. Following that, we have Baby Monster's Stuck in the Middle. As mentioned earlier, Baby Monster is recognized for being a group that focuses more on rapping, but this song showcased the true potential of their vocal range. Baby Monster is arguably one of the most talented 5th gen groups out there, and I hope they start experimenting with new styles in their future releases. And now, in 3rd place, we have Red Velvet with their song Night Drive. Red Velvet is recognized as the queens of vocals in the industry, and with this song, they did not disappoint. The melody, the lyrics, and of course, the vocals all come together to create this beautiful track. In 2nd place, we have Les Sserafim with their song Crazier. One thing I love about Les Sserafim is that with every release, they always provide us with at least one ballad, and I think this year they did a phenomenal job. While I would still consider their song Good Parts their best ballad to date, I think Crazier comes really close. I absolutely love the pace and the lyrics of this song, and I'm looking forward to their next ballad. And finally, in 1st place, we have Eyelit with their song Pimple. I gotta be honest, this song took me by surprise, as Eyelit's discography mainly features a youthful and exciting style. Nonetheless, they absolutely delivered with this ballad, and I've had it on repeat ever since its release. The lyrics, the vocals, the melody all come together to form this masterpiece. Eyelit has come to play and is proving to be a leader in the 5th generation. Moving on to our next category, let's highlight the most underrated release of the year. First up is Triple S's album Assemble 24. It's not every day that we see a large group come together to release music that features all of its members, but Triple S absolutely delivered with this phenomenal album. I have to admit, this release is what turned me into a fan of them. It truly showcased the group's immense potential and their ability to work in perfect harmony. Tracks like Girls Never Die stood out with their infectious energy and catchy melodies, leaving a lasting impression. This album is a testament to Triple S's versatility and talent, and it deserves far more recognition. On to our next release, aespa's Japanese single, Hot Mess. This is arguably the most underrated release by aespa by far. I wasn't a fan of Zoom Zoom, but Sun and Moon and Hot Mess were so good. I'd say this single definitely deserves more recognition. I particularly love the melody, and I'd consider these songs aespa's hidden gems within their discography. Moving on to the next release, ITZY with their album Gold. Never thought I'd say ITZY is underrated, as they were once at the top of the K-pop world, but that's just not the case anymore. Either way, they're still putting out some great songs, and now that Leah is back, ITZY is finally at full strength once again. The overall concept and style for this album feel more like the original ITZY style, which I really appreciate. Not only that, but the entire final edition of the Born to Be album, which includes Leah, was featured with this release, and I really respect ITZY for doing that. Taking 3rd place, we have IVE with their album Heya. In my opinion, this was the pinnacle of their 2024 releases, though I still think it flew a bit under the radar. While the title track Heya was undeniably impressive, the album's B-sides were just as strong, if not stronger. Tracks like Ice Queen, Excendio, and Blue Heart stand out as hidden gems within IVE's already stellar discography, showcasing their range and versatility. The concept for this release was also perfectly tailored to IVE's identity, adding another layer of depth to the album. It's a project that deserves far more appreciation for its creativity and cohesion. Moving on to 2nd place, we have Red Velvet's album Cosmic. This is by far one of my favorite releases by Red Velvet to date. It's a vocal masterpiece, and the wide variety of songs within this album is commendable. I'd argue that Red Velvet is one of the most underrated groups of all time, as their discography is loaded with hidden gems, and I think this album is another gem to add to their collection. And finally, in first place, we have NMIXX with their album FE304, Stick Out. This is by far NMIXX's greatest work, in my opinion. I've always said that NMIXX has had difficulty finding the right concept or style, but I think they found the perfect one with this release. The hip-hop / fast tempo rapping and almost aggressive style suit them beautifully, and the variety of songs they delivered with this album showcases NMIXX at their full strength, which definitely deserves more recognition. Moving on to our next category, my favorite release of the year. This one was tough, as I believe there have been an incredible number of releases this year, and it took me a while to pinpoint my favorite. But after careful consideration, I was able to make a decision. Our first release is iLit with their debut mini album, Super Real Me. As one of the youngest 5th gen groups out there, the fact that iLit dropped a viral song like Magnetic shows just how much potential they truly have. I absolutely love every song featured on this release, and I would even consider it a classic. iLit represents the Y2K concept powerfully, and they've definitely come to play. I hope they carry this momentum into next year. Continuing with the next release, Nayeon with her second solo album, NA. This is easily my favorite release from Nayeon, and I admired the variety of songs and styles she included within this album. I would even say that Nayeon has further solidified her all-rounder talents by showcasing her versatility in music. Not only that, but I was caught off guard by her collaboration with Julie from Kiss of Life for their song, Magic. Truly a fantastic release. I am confident in saying that Nayeon is one of the most talented idols out there, and she deserves more credit for her work. Moving forward, we have iLit with their latest release, I'll Like You. I gotta say, iLit has really impressed me this year, and I'm totally fangirling over them at this point. This release has no misses, and each song is an absolute gem. I would say that iLit is further proving themselves as leaders in the 5th generation, as they are representing the Y2K concept beautifully. They are definitely on the level of a Daesang, and I hope they snag one for themselves this year. All in all, I think they are on the right path, and I look forward to their releases next year. Now, in third place, we have aespa with their 5th mini album, Whiplash. All year long, I've been mentioning how aespa continues to one-up themselves with every new release, and with this one, they absolutely delivered and then some. aespa has been pushing out releases this year so aggressively, and it's obvious that they're chasing a Daesang. I would argue that they're deserving of several. The variety of styles featured within this release is so generous, and I'm totally in love with it. aespa has truly evolved into a powerhouse group, and I would even place them at the top of the K-pop world this year. In second place, I have chosen ITZY with their album, Born to Be. This is absolutely one of my favorite releases from ITZY in a while, and I totally loved their aggressive concept, which is far different from their original style. Not to mention, this album features their first ever solo music, a moment I think all of us were waiting for, and I'd say they delivered. I really admire ITZY for experimenting with something different with this release, and I hope to see something like this again from them next year now that Leah is back. And finally, in first place, NMIXX with their release FE304, Stick Out. I've already mentioned most of my thoughts about this release in the last category, but similarly to ITZY's Born to Be, I admired NMIXX for experimenting with something different. NMIXX is known for having some quirky songs since their debut, but since then, they've pushed their boundaries and really sharpened their overall raw talents. Their rapping hip-hop concept is their most powerful style, in my opinion, and I hope they continue to bring more heat next year. Let's continue to the next category, the most underrated song of the year. One song that comes to mind is Les Serafim's Swan Song. This song was part of their mini album Easy, which came out earlier this year, and was greatly overshadowed by their viral songs Smart and Easy. I absolutely love the vibes of this song. The softer tone and rap combination go so well together. Les Seraphim has some absolute bops in their discography, but I would consider Swan's song their hidden gem. Another song that comes to mind is ITZY's Bad Girls Are Us. I would have to say that this song is one of my favorites across ITZY's releases in a while. I love how catchy it is. Similarly to Les Seraphim's Swan song, I'd say that this is a hidden gem within ITZY's discography. That said, I'd argue that Crush by IVE was even more underrated. This track seemed to slip under the radar during the summer, but it truly deserves more recognition. What I love about Crush is how it brings back that classic IVE style, staying true to their signature sound while still feeling fresh. Honestly, I'd go so far as to say this is my favorite song from them this year. It's yet another gem that adds depth and brilliance to IVE's already impressive discography. However, in third place, I have decided to place Kiss of Life's song Nothing. This song was accompanied by Midas Touch, which is arguably Kiss of Life's best song to be released. That said, I think Nothing was a vocal masterpiece, and the softer tone combined with their R&B specialty goes together perfectly. Definitely Kiss of Life's most underrated song across their entire discography. In second place, we have NewJeans with their song Right Now. It's kind of hard for me to say that NewJeans has any underrated songs, as most of their entire discography contains viral hits, but if I had to pick, it would definitely be this song. It has a similar formula to Super Shy, with its Powerpuff Girls style instrumentals. I think NewJeans are still dominating the Y2K concept and are even leading the fourth generation in terms of popularity. I hope to see more from them next year. And finally, in first place, I have chosen Dive by Twice. This whole album was underrated, but the title track is easily one of my favorite songs from Twice ever. The vocals, the melody, the lyrics, this was a masterpiece if you ask me. If any song deserves more recognition, it has to be Dive. Moving on to the next category, my favorite song of the year. One song I really want to talk about is Baby Monster's single Forever. This is by far one of my favorites from Baby Monster, and I think this song is a classic. I love the switch up on the beat, and I really love the twist of pop and rapping, which I think they are experts in. Not to mention, their vocals were superior, showcasing their all-rounder talents. I feel really good about Baby Monster's discography so far, and I look forward to their releases next year. Following that, we have Kiss of Life with their song Chemistry. This is easily one of their most underrated songs in their entire discography, and I think it deserves more recognition. Kiss of Life absolutely owns the R&B genre, and this song is a masterful performance across the board. Their vocals, the catchy lyrics, the melody, and the beats all make this a masterpiece of a song. Another song to consider is ILIT's debut song, Magnetic. This song is easily the highlight of the year, which blew them up, and for good reason. Not only is this a classic within their discography, but I think even within the K-pop world. Magnetic is super catchy, and I believe that they deserve a D song for this one. Moving along with my top three. In third place, aespa with their song Armageddon. I think that aespa has released multiple classics this year, but if I had to pick a favorite, it would definitely be Armageddon. I absolutely loved the melody and the style for this song. aespa performed it masterfully. I think they aced every category across the board with this one, and they did not disappoint this year. In second place, and once again, Kiss of Life with their song REM. This by far has to be my favorite work by Kiss of Life to date. This song was a melody and vocal masterpiece, and I don't think anybody else could have performed it any better. However, this song would be more on the underrated side of their discography, which is a bit disappointing, as I think it deserves more recognition as well. And finally, in first place, NewJeans with their song Supernatural. I would go as far as to say that NewJeans to this day has not a single miss within their entire discography, and that they are a bop machine. This easily stacks up against Super Shy in terms of my all-time favorite NewJeans song, as I'm absolutely in love with how catchy both songs are. Supernatural sticks to their Y2K formula, and they performed it masterfully. Moving along with our next category, my favorite solo song of the year, I would say that this was my most difficult category just because I think there were too many great solo songs that came out this year. To start us out, we have Giselle's single Dopamine. This was part of aespa's release Sync Parallel line, which included a single for each of the members, and I know that everyone's favorite is Karina's Up, but I think Giselle's solo was super underrated. I totally loved the chill, laid-back vibes of this song, and I think Giselle would make a great soloist. I hope to see more from her next year. Next is Chaeryeong's solo Mine. I was really excited to see ITZY finally release some solo music, and I love them all, but Chaeryeong's solo sticks out to me the most. This song is extremely catchy, and I love the choice of lyrics, which go along well with the melody. Another underrated solo song if you ask me. Moving forward, we have Lisa with her song Rockstar. I was absolutely blown away when Lisa released this song, and I think it was a great start for her solo journey. Lisa is no stranger to solo music, as she's released songs like Money and La Lisa in the past, and I would still argue that Money is her best solo work to date, but that's just my personal opinion. Nonetheless, Rockstar was spectacular. I loved the aggressive approach that Lisa took with this one, and the melody and beats were perfect with her choice of lyrics. In third place, I have chosen Jennie's single Mantra. This song was truly empowering, and I totally loved how catchy this song was. Jennie continues to prove to us how powerful her rapping talents are with a blend of her great vocals. Similarly to Lisa, I think Jennie is off to a great start to her solo career, and I would even say that this song is on par with her song Solo. This gives me a lot of hope, and I look forward to her future album. In second place, I have chosen Nayeon with her song ABCD. This is by far my favorite song from Nayeon. She was so powerful when performing this song. The beats, the melody, the vocals, the catchy lyrics, truly a masterpiece if you ask me. Nayeon continues to prove to us that she is built for the soloist stage, and this style fits her like a glove. Finally, in first place, Rosé with her song APT, which was a collaboration with Bruno Mars. This was a collab that took me by surprise, and I think the vocal blend between Rosé and Bruno was perfect for this song. I think Rosé dropped a classic with this one, and it's obvious, due to how popular it is. Her vocals and catchy lyrics make this song so exciting to listen to. Not only that, but I think Rosé fits the pop rock style really well, and I hope she releases more songs with similar styles. On to the next category, my favorite choreography of the year. This is a new category for me as I've never really talked about choreography, but I think it's worth mentioning as the year is coming to a close soon. Kicking things off with our first choreography, let's talk about aespa's incredible routine for their hit track Supernova. Without a doubt, this has to be one of the standout moments of 2024, as it's become a real trendsetter within the K-pop community. I would even go so far as to say that this choreography ranks among aespa's best across all of their songs. The way it captures both power and precision is remarkable. And of course, let's not forget that legendary moment where the beat drops and Ning Ning takes the lead with an epic switch-up on the song that gives off such a dominant vibe. Next is ITZY's choreography from their song Untouchable. I must say, this is one of my favorite choreographies from ITZY in a while, as I think their style of dance goes along well with the song. However, it kind of sucks that Leah wasn't around at the peak of ITZY's Born to Be era, but hopefully we get to see a completed version of the performance with her in it soon. Either way, I love ITZY's aggressive dancing style, which I think they're really good at. They have some of the best choreography talents in the entire industry. Following that is Les Serafim's choreography from their song Easy. In my opinion, I think Les Serafim has some of the best choreography out there. With this one, I love the fluidity of the performance all the members had. It goes so well with the song, and the hip-hop style gives them a cool vibe, which I really liked. Not their best choreography, but definitely good nonetheless. Moving on to my third place pick, Kiss of Life with their choreography from their song Igloo. This is easily one of my favorite choreographies from Kiss of Life to date, and I love how dynamic and cool the overall style is for this performance. Not to mention, the part where each member gets their own spotlight to showcase their moves is really unique, and also the shades that they put on makes it look so much cooler. In second place, I have chosen aespa with their choreography from their song Armageddon. This is my favorite choreography from aespa, and it's not even close. The fluidity, the dynamic moves, it goes so well with the song. I couldn't see it performed any other way. I'd consider this a masterful performance by aespa, and I love how each member got a unique set of moves within this choreography as well. Finally, in first place, I have gone with ILIT's choreography from their song Magnetic. I think that Magnetic was ILIT's masterpiece. Not only was the song incredible, but so was their choreography. I gotta admit, ILIT has some powerful dancing skills, and I think they've shown that with this high energy and super catchy performance. I love how they interact with one another, and their choice of moves fit the trendy Y2K concept perfectly. Every member had their spotlight to shine, and they went above and beyond. Moving along to the next category, the most underrated group of the year. One group that I really want to mention is Bad Villain. I can totally understand why they're so underrated. The fifth generation is being dominated by a few already established groups from some of the biggest companies out there. But Bad Villain has really left an impression on me with the few songs they've released this year. I think they're quite talented, specializing in rapping and a hip-hop style of choreography. To be honest, they kind of remind me a bit of XG in terms of overall style. I hope they bring something big next year and become a formidable group within the fifth generation. Another group I would consider to be underrated is ITZY. This is kind of hard for me to say, as they once ruled the K-pop industry. But lately, that throne has been transitioning over to the fifth generation, which is evident and honestly inevitable. Though I would say this was aespa's year, nonetheless I think ITZY has been hanging in there, but their streaming numbers have been on a decline for a few years now. Even though they haven't released anything on the level of, let's say, Dalla Dalla or Wannabe in quite some time, I still think that Born to Be and Gold were great releases, with Born to Be being one of my favorite releases from them in quite a while. I pray that they make a strong comeback next year, at least enough to revive their popularity. Another group to mention is IVE. I don't think that they're on a decline at all, but I also don't think their overall impact this year was as big as previous years. Think of their releases like I Am or even Baddie. Nothing from this year quite compares to those songs in terms of popularity. Now, that's not to say that IVE has released bad songs this year, admittedly. However, I think their single Will was a miss for me. That said, I think their mini album, I've Switch, was pretty good. And Supernova Love was awesome. I haven't lost faith in IVE, and I'm sure they'll be back even stronger next year. In third place, however, and arguably the most underrated group of all time, Red Velvet. I don't know if it's the marketing or just their overall popularity, but their album Cosmic was so high quality, it honestly deserves a lot more recognition. Not only that, but I feel this way about their entire discography. So many hidden gems, it's unbelievable. Either way, they're pretty stable in the charts, which is quite impressive for being one of the few third-gen groups still active. In second place, Triple S. I gotta be honest here, I'd never heard of Triple S before, but when I heard that a group of 24 idols was making an album, I had to tune in. Their group album Assemble 24 was really good, and super underrated. I think they're a well-rounded group in terms of talent and deserve a lot more credit for their work. Not only that, but I really admire the amount of releases they've been pushing out, which is quite extensive compared to most groups, and keeps things fresh. This is a group that I'll definitely keep on my radar, and I'm looking forward to more releases from them next year. And finally, in first place, NMIXX. I don't know what it would take for NMIXX to blow up in the industry, as I think their FE 304 albums have been some of their best work, especially Stick Out. This year we saw NMIXX at full strength, and I would go as far as to say that they are probably the most talented and well-rounded group across the entire K-pop industry. They cover all categories easily, and they are well known for experimenting with new styles all the time, which I applaud them for. Moving forward, however, I hope they get their big break, possibly reaching the level of a Daesung next year. For our next category, my favorite group of the year. One group that immediately comes to mind is NMIXX. I've already praised NMIXX for being such a talented group that deserves more recognition for their work, but I also choose them because they've grown so much as a group. While they've only been in the industry for a few years, I think they've really shown us what they're made of this year. They've delivered everything from impressive stage performances to powerful vocal abilities and their talent for exploring outside of the traditional K-pop realm. I really admire their effort and tenacity, and I hope they bring that momentum with them into the next year. Another group I had in mind is New Jeans. This year has been really difficult for New Jeans, to say the least, as they were caught in an ongoing battle with their CEO and HYBE labels. Nonetheless, they continued to perform and deliver great music. This proves to us that New Jeans is strong and doesn't give up easily. I'd say that this year was a bit lighter in terms of their overall output of music, but even then, they managed to top the streaming charts and even win a day song, like the Grand Artist Award at KGMA 2024. New Jeans is a really powerful group, whether some people want to admit it or not. The next group that I considered is ILIT. From day one, I totally became a fan of them. Right from the jump, they released the K-pop classic Magnetic, which is an incredible achievement, and they've adopted the Y2K concept, which they represent powerfully. I know that some netizens compare them to New Jeans in a negative light, but I think we should stop hating on either group because their management is the issue, not the girls themselves. That said, I think ILIT is one of the leaders in the 5th generation and deserves a lot more credit for their potential. Moving along to 3rd place, Baby Monster. I've had high hopes for them since their debut late last year, and I think this year they did not disappoint. I would argue that they are one of the most talented groups out there, as they can do it all and perform across all categories with ease. Not only that, but I would consider them leaders of the 5th generation, and if they're successful this early in their career, I can only imagine how legendary their run will be in the coming years. In 2nd place, Kiss of Life. Kiss of Life has had a phenomenal year, and they are also leaders of the 5th generation. Similar to Baby Monster, I think Kiss of Life is one of the most talented groups out there. They perform as if they've been in the industry for years. I love their unique R&B style, and their choice of choreography makes them stand out. Granted, they are more on the mature side of the industry, but nonetheless, they have proven the ability to become a legendary group in the making. I can't wait to see what they bring next year. And finally, my favorite group of the year, aespa. This should come as no surprise, as aespa had an explosive year. They've done everything from releasing multiple songs to having viral hits like Armageddon, Supernova, and Whiplash. Not only that, but they even introduced their solo songs. It's obvious that aespa was chasing a D-song this year, which I believe they deserve several. All year long, I've mentioned how aespa always finds a way to outdo themselves, and it amazes me how they continue to prove that with every new release they put out. This begs the question, will they keep this momentum going next year? Hard to say, as I imagine how exhausting it must have been to write and produce all their songs this year alone. Not to mention, they're a relatively small group compared to others in the industry, so it's just more work for the girls. Nonetheless, I think they've had an incredible run this year and have only further proven themselves to be leaders in the 4th generation and are definitely on their way to becoming a legendary group. Moving along to the next category, Most Underrated Idol of the Year. To start us off, I'll be talking about ITZY's Chaeryeong. I would argue that Chaeryeong has been ITZY's most underrated member since their debut, but this year in particular, I think she really showed her growth in her raw talents. In my opinion, her Born to Be era is her most powerful yet, and her solo song Mine was my favorite solo from all of ITZY. She truly fits the aggressive style best, as her dancing skills are sharp and powerful, almost comparable to Ryujin. Next is aespa's Giselle. Similarly to Chaeryeong, I think this year, Giselle showed us her most powerful form yet. I absolutely loved her performances in her Armageddon and Supernova eras, but I was really blown away by her solo song Dopamine, which is honestly my favorite solo song of all 4 members. I still believe that Giselle deserves to be in the spotlight more, and hopefully we'll see that happen next year. Following her is Twice's Tsuyu. I think it's a lot harder for Tsuyu to shine in the spotlight, especially being in a group with 8 other members. Still, her solo debut, About Zu, gave her a chance to show her hidden talents, and I think she did a fantastic job. Not only was the release underrated, but I also think she deserves more recognition, as she provided us with a generous variety of songs, showing that Tsuyu is capable of being a talented soloist. I'm sure many onces now view Tsuyu under a different light, and I hope to see more solo work from her in the near future. Now, in 3rd place, (G)I-DLE's Yuki. Similarly to Tsuyu, I think Yuki had a phenomenal solo release this year, showcasing her incredible, well-versed talents. Yuki was already known as an all-rounder idol, but her solo work further solidified that. Her solo achievements were also recognized at KGMA 2024, where she won Best Solo Artist of the Year, which is a testament to her true soloist potential and is well-deserved. Congrats, Yuki. In second place, I have chosen Baby Monster's Rami. Baby Monster is arguably one of the biggest groups in the industry right now, and it's fair to say that it's difficult for Rami to stand out against 6 other members, especially some of the more popular ones like Ayan, Asa, and Ruka. Still, I think Rami has some of the most impressive vocals in the 5th generation, and possibly within the entire industry. Her performances across all of Baby Monster's releases this year were incredible, and I have high hopes that she will become a standout idol in the years to come. And finally, in first place, Haewon. I would say that Haewon has always been the underdog leader within the industry, and it's fair to say she's more popular for her sense of humor. But for her raw talents as an idol, she deserves so much more credit. This year, we've seen Haewon in her most powerful form yet, further solidifying her ace abilities. I feel like Haewon can pretty much do anything with ease, and all that's left is for her to come out with solo music, which I'm hoping will be granted sometime next year. Nonetheless, I think Haewon is on the right path to becoming a leader of the 4th generation. She just needs an opportunity for her viral moment. And finally, we've reached our last category, my favorite idol of the year. Starting us off, we have Baby Monster's Asa. I think Baby Monster is absolutely stacked with talent across the board, but personally, I think Asa really stands out. Her aura is so powerful, and her rapping abilities are honestly on a generational scale. She has it all, from strong vocals and powerful choreography to a dominant stage presence. Not to mention, she's had an incredible year, with all her performances being top tier, especially in her Sheesh and Forever eras. Next is Jennie. Don't get me wrong, Jennie will forever be my ultimate bias, and I'll take her over anybody any day. But when I make these videos, I like to keep it fair and make my decisions from an unbiased standpoint. That being said, I think Jennie did pretty well earlier this year with her collaborations, Spot with Zico and Slow Motion with Matt Champion. But I personally don't think they had as much of an impact compared to Mantra, which I would argue is one of her best songs to date. Jennie is back and stronger than ever, and I'm here for it all. Her outgoing performance and empowering concept in Mantra was top tier, and I'm really enjoying this new era of Jennie as she begins her solo journey. However, we've yet to receive her solo album this year, and I hope she releases it soon. Nonetheless, I look forward to seeing what Jennie will have in store for us in 2025. Another idol I want to mention is Kiss of Life's Natty. I think Natty had an explosive year, and wow, did she come to play. Her dancing skills are on an elite level, and I'd honestly compare her to someone like Momo or Ryujin. The fact that I can say this about her this early in her career really shows us how much potential she has. She's easily one of the biggest idols in the industry right now, and with good reason. I really loved her performances in Igloo and Sticky, where she performed powerfully across all categories. Truly a dominating year for Natty, and I hope she can continue this momentum into next year. In third place, we have Twice's Nayeon. I must say, Nayeon is arguably one of the biggest idols in K-pop history, and this year, she continues to solidify that. Nayeon performed everything this year powerfully, whether it's from Twice's One Spark to Dive or her solo release. She owned everything this year. I'd say her second solo album is her best work to date, and the variety of songs and styles she included proves to us how versatile she truly is, and that she was meant for the solo stage. In second place, I've chosen Kiss of Life's Julie. Similarly to Natty, I think Julie had an explosive year and has made a name for herself as one of the biggest idols in the industry right now. Julie is a total ace and definitely deserves the leadership position within her group, as she can do it all with ease. Not only that, but I really admire her enthusiasm when performing. Almost every time I see her perform, she has a big smile on her face, and you can tell she really loves what she does. The effort she puts in is miraculous, and I would even argue that she's leading the 5th generation. Julie is truly a star, and I believe she's on the right path to becoming a legendary idol for years to come. I hope she can continue to bring us powerful performances next year. And finally, for my favorite idol of the year, in first place, aespa's Karina. Since her debut, Karina has always amazed me, constantly finding a way to go above and beyond and outdo herself with every new release. I think it's quite obvious that Karina had a stellar year, from all the incredible releases with aespa such as Armageddon, Supernova, Hot Mess, and Whiplash, to her insane solo song, Up. Karina provided us with powerful performances all year long, and her all-rounder talents have cemented her as arguably the best idol of the year. She is easily a legend in the making. Karina has been in the industry for about 4 years now, and we still have so much more to see from her and aespa. I can't wait to see what lies ahead on Karina's path in the years to come. And there you have it, my final K-pop favorites of 2024. Thank you all so much for watching my video. This has easily been my favorite video to make this year. It's been such a pleasure looking back at all the amazing releases from my favorite K-pop idols and groups. What a journey it's been, and I'm so excited to see what next year will bring us. I wish all the groups and idols good health and success in the coming year, and I hope they continue to shine. I'll be continuing with my videos next year, focusing on releasing content every single month. You can expect more tier lists, rankings, reviews, and deep dives into everything K-pop. Don't forget to check out all of my videos from this year. I'll have a playlist available on the end screen if you'd like to catch up. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like as it really helps the channel, and consider subscribing for more content in the future. I focus on female K-pop groups and idols, so if that's your thing, you're in the right place. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next year.